Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the Coast Reflector Tech number 614. 614 on this March 25th, 2025. This is Dick, WB2JPQ, along with Scott, W2BLT, and Vicky, KEAP, bringing you this week's East Coast Reflector Tech. For those of you that are new, our format hasn't changed in a year or so, maybe a couple. We reach out and see if any of our system team members have anything to report. Our organizational chart. And Joe is here tonight, but before we go to Joe, I'm going to see if we have any silent keys. There are none that were flagged from our database that I can see as of yet here tonight, which is good. For all silent key is somebody from our amateur radio fraternity, preferable the East Coast Reflector that has passed away. Then I'm going to turn over to Joe, KD2TFB. He's going to enlighten us with the celebrity of the week. We're glad to have Joe with us again tonight. And after we get done with Joe, I want to see if we have any new users to this net. I've never been into this net before. That will time to call in. Then we'll go to station radio-related questions. Hopefully we'll have some good questions, and we'll field them and try to find out and get an answer. Kind of the lineup. I will turn it up to Kevin B3PZ. I'm not sure if he has anything in our swap after that, but and find out one way or the other. So, any of our system team members, system facilitate team members, everybody on the chart, anybody have anything that they would like to report tonight? Okay. WB2JPQ.
W2KJV, W2KJV.
I'm breaking up a little bit. Hi, Tony. I don't know what's going on here. Tuesday nights is my bad night for audio. I can do nets all during the week and never have any. But good evening. Let's see what happens here tonight. Go ahead, Tony. WB2JPQ.
Dick and everyone on the tech net tonight. Tony here. I just want to remind everyone to, if you do amateur radio related photos, we got 6 days to get them in before the end of March. And if you get them in, I will put them on the East Coast Reflector slideshow on YouTube. So if you want to, just send them in to Dick, W2JPQ@AOL.com. And he'll send them to me, and we'll put them on the East Coast Reflector slideshow. That's it. I don't know if you had a question, but if you did, I didn't catch it. So back to you, Dick, W2KJV.
Well, that's my fault. I didn't. What is your summer amateur radio project? Amateur radio project is our question for tonight.
Mine is to try to get the parts that I need for my gap antenna and to put up a 2-meter antenna that I just acquired. I got acquired it up. It came with a push-up pole. And so that's my summer amateur radio project. Back to you, Dick. Thanks. W2KJV.
All right. Thank you, Tony. And there are quite a few bad. I think you hear about that on Facebook. A lot of shack pictures and so forth. I think Vicky said the other day she already put them on the drive, so go there and pull them off. I think you'll have any other team members have anything to report tonight? Hearing nothing. Does anyone have a key from the East Coast Reflector family that remembered? Our database showed none, which is good. So, does anybody have a silent key that they would like to have remembered here this evening? Well, that's good in all two cases. Joe, I guess it's all you. 82 DFB with the Celebrity of the Week. Good evening, Joe.
Good evening, everyone. I would say my summer radio project would be to actually get an HF antenna strung up about 40-45 meters to play with as far as the antenna goes. So I hope to get that up. That's long overdue for HF. The sources for this week are the New York Times and Northern California Public Radio. The place was Lubbock, Texas. The year was 1956. Alto sax player Peggy was on her way to the Lubbock High School band room when she ran into somebody in a big hurry. Quote, "I'm terribly sorry, but I don't have time to pick you up." Peggy later recalled in her autobiography. The following year, the whole world would hear about our celebrity as the Crickets would release a song about her and help propel the band to much fame. A couple of years later, in 1959, the band was lost, the incident which would be noted by Don McLean as the day the music died. Taken for 8 years to Cricket drummer Jerry Allison, this week's celebrity call sign was 5 Papa Sierra Golf, or K5 PSG, note that's Peggy's initials, belonging to Peggy Sue Guerin, the reason for the title of the Cricket song, Peggy Sue. Sad to say, she became a silent key on October 1st, 2018, at the age of 78. Kilo Delta 2 Tango Foxtrot Bravo, back to net control.
Thank you, Joe. Our Lubbock people will be glad to hear that. I think Giro had talked about that to me a couple, 4 or 5 years ago. That and what was the other one out there in Lubbock? Granny Millsap, I think, came from Lubbock too. I might be mistaken. So, thank you. Thank you, Joe. Do we have any new users to this net? If you've done this net before, we always take a few minutes and welcome our new users. So if you've never checked into this net before, sign twice, and we'll get you in here at the top of the net.
Alabama. Nice to be here. Over. Kilo Delta 9, Whiskey X-Ray Charlie. Kilo Delta 9, Whiskey X-Ray Charlie.
Oh, there's Roger from Petersburg, Indiana. This is a system from New Hope, Alabama. 89 WXC and W2 IJZ, or IJG. Well, it's a tongue twister for me. And we had somebody trying to get in from KI5ZS repeater, or no, you were all noise, sir. Maybe you can change location. Let me go to John, New Hope, Alabama. Good evening, John. Welcome. probably heard is what is your summer amateur radio project?
India Juliet Golf. I've got 3 projects going on. I'm getting, I just got my J-pole antenna for 440 and 2 meter. Trying to get that up. I've got 2 high frequency antenna. One's an NFED halfway, the other is a dipole. And finally, I'm trying to get a mesh-tastic, solar-powered mesh-tastic node up here in Neuro. So hopefully I'll be able to get that done this summer.
Well, good, John. You got some. Our system will try to send you out a welcome letter, but you do not have a current email address on qrz.com. So if you want to go to qrz.com, put a current email address in there, or a public one. The system will send you a welcome letter. Thanks for being there. Good evening to Roger, KD9WXC. How are you, Roger?
Oh, very well, thank you. Yeah, I'm a kind of a transplant here in Florida at the present. We kind of winter down here and live in Petersburg, Indiana, when it comes to bears in the wintertime. So our project, I guess, right now is get back to Indiana, so start gardening and raising some corn. So, but anyway, enjoy the net, enjoy listening to all you guys down here in Florida. It's really, really nice. I enjoy this West Coast Reflector, East Coast Reflector really. It's really a lot of fun. So I'll get out. Thank you for running the net. KD9, WXC.
Thank you, Roger. See you coming in. Lake County Club repeater. We're glad to have them with us full time. They've been with us for many, many, many years, one way, shape, or form. If they have new to this step, please give us your call sign twice.
Charlie X-ray Quebec, KE2 CXQ.
Bravo Victor Kilo. Kilo Romeo 4. Bravo Victor Kilo.
The station is trying on N1NDN. N1NDN, you're up. Keying up that recruiter system. Keying up that node, no audio. I guess that's Bernie there, N1NDN, but we can't copy you, Bernie. We got Keith from Jacksonville, Florida, KR4BBK. And we also got Don, KE2 CQX, but Don, unfortunately, your flag left here indicating that you have been in before, so we're going to have you call in with the district, which is 3/4 of the way down to the list. So let me go to Keith in Jacksonville, KR4BBQ. Keith, and our question tonight: what summer amateur radio project do you have?
In the high 90s, so I anticipate passing. So I guess my summer going to be getting the HF rig and building a dipole and yard and getting out on the HF. Good evening to everybody on here. 73 KR4 BBK. Back to net.
Everybody gets done keying up here, we'll carry on with the next. Bernie, I'll try you N1 NDN, but you were just cycling. You want to give it a try? Nothing heard. Let's say you have stations new. Before, like I said before, we'd like to get you up at the top of the list. Call signs twice. This is Dick WB2JPQ. W9EBB. W9EBB. I'm not quite sure we can see it up, but very nice. Oh, we're not either, Don. There's been a whole bunch of Rochester's been keying up. Texas, Dallas has been keying up. A whole bunch of nodes here. Repeaters have been keying up over the top of it. Tonight I guess we'll have to start taking up. Fortunately, the 9EBB, you've been in here before, Don, so I'm going to ask you to come in with the nightfall district tonight. Hello, move to this step. Never been in here before? We'll get you. Get the stations with quick. Place, if you are new to this step. This is a Kilo Echo 2, Charlie. The Lima. CJL. Was that W2 CJL? Something like that? That is Kilo Echo 2, Charlie 2. Quite a bit of noise up. Eric, say the same thing to you, KE2, CJL, you've been on this as well, so you come up red on our log sheet. I'll have to ask you to call in with the second call district when we get to it. What else do we have? Got a ton of notes over the top of me and everything else. Who else do I have here tonight? Juliet 5 Hotel Whiskey K5 HWZ. That's all we've had. And we got you, Mark, KJ5HWZ. The station coming in on KU6C, your audio is pretty much non-existent. Your Roger beep is 3 times louder than your voice is, so you need to up your audio. But good evening, you, Mark, KJ5HWZ. How are you this evening, and would you like to answer your summer, your radio project? I guess I will try upping my wattage here. I'm at 25 watts. That summer sounds good, and I just upgraded my system to a mobile unit. Noise almost sounds like duplex noise, Mark. You want to try that again? I did not get that. Yeah, this is fine. Just kept it up wattage. I think you said some wattage, but you're not holding it. I don't know if you can fix it situation and come back with, sounds like duplex noise to me. But, sure you're coming in 900 repeater there. I think that's the one Chris comes into in the morning, but you're just not making it. Hey, who else do I have? Let us call for new stations that have never checked this net before. Call back twice.
W6MHS.
U6MHS. Boy, the same goes for you, my friend. You've been in here before, picking up red on our log sheet, so I'm going to ask you to call it at the 6th call district when Scott gets to it tonight. That's the second one down. We're going to start with 5, 6, 7, and on 4 is last this week. It was this week, so sorry about that. What do I have? New to this net. Stations new to that.
0 at 5, India, Victor Mike.
KJ5 India Victor Mike, KJ5 IVM. Good evening to you. IBM. Looks like Ruth in Cold Springs, Texas. Good evening.
So, this is the net.
Our question tonight is, what are your summer amateur radio projects?
I'm brand new ham radio operator, and I'm figuring out that I need a new HF antenna, so I'm going to have to do some research and figure out for me.
All right. Ruth's summer project is a HF antenna. Thank you for being with us, Ruth. Nice to have you. You're coming in on Valley System there, South Coast Reflector tonight. Anybody else new to this net? If you've never checked into this net, this is your one and only chance to get in here. Robert from Deltona, KJ4ZFM, you come up red as well, so you have, here, but obviously Vicky did. I have to ask you to call in with the district as well. Last call. Anybody new to this net wishing to get in here? There's a station coming in through the Toledo, Ohio repeater, but you're unreadable. We can't even get your call sign, and we will never, ever get the answer to your question. So I don't know if you can fix things, raise power or something, but you're very unreadable. All right, let's go on to stations with an amateur radio related question. If you have an amateur radio related thing, we'd like to hear about it, and we'll try to find you an answer. So call sign. Again, this is Dick, WB2JPQ. you're also very, very noisy, but we'll try to pull you.
Dick and everyone else in the net. My question to y'all is there advantages to using DCS codes over CTCS codes?
Well, that's a good question. Some say yes. I never used anything but CTCSS, but we've had some examples here, a couple in the last 6-7 months, that have used digital and found it somewhat better. But let's put it out to the group and see if we can get a little discussion going for you. But my experience is that it has made some definite changes which I'm aware of. Put it out and see if anybody's got a comment on that. Hoping that Dan W2PUT was here. We had some words of wisdom for us. I know he's done a lot of playing with that, but what were you thinking about for your node?
Negative. I was just curious, just at it for curiosity's sake. I don't have a node or anything like that in my possession. I wouldn't mind having one in the future, but for right now, I'm kind of saving my money.
Thank you. Well, maybe somebody will come on and put comment here as the evening goes on. Sometimes that does happen, but in many cases, I shouldn't use the word many. In some cases that I'm aware of, it has made a difference. Also, we have stations with an amateur radio related questions. Call sign twice.
Kilo Charlie Zero Bravo Bravo Foxtrot. Kilo Charlie Zero Bravo Bravo Foxtrot.
Good evening, Steve. KC0BBF.
Good evening, Dick and rest of you. It was nice to see you on the Zoom room the other time. I'll probably be getting on that more and more. I just let you know that your DMR side is down. So just thought I'd let you know. I'll probably be getting on the Zoom room more often. Thank you.
Alright, you must be down at the DMR side because you don't have any alarms. Well, that's the stuff in email and try to get that for you, Steve. We have actually no real way to turn in a ticket on that. Thanks for letting us know. But as far as we can see in our alarms, it's up, so it's just on the DMR side. What do we have? Stations with a question tonight. Amateur radio related questions. Thank you for that. NH212.
Whiskey 4 Hotel. Whiskey 4 Hotel Kilo Lima.
Wow, this is a night for Kia. I got you, Steve, W4HKL, and we got Jay in Detroit, Michigan. And AQIQ. Good evening, Jay. And what summer amateur radio projects do you have planned? And go ahead with your question.
Well, since the last time I was on that, maybe a and a half or 2 ago, passed the general. So thankfully, my summer project will be getting an HF station up and on the air. So I'm looking forward to that. Interested to know if anybody has experience with like a Buckmaster off-limits that dipole. If you're not here in the city to have a decent bit of land, so I can do like a horizontal. And so if anybody has some experience with that, was originally thinking about it off-center instead. But I got some food that if I could do it, I'd like to try it out. So curious if anybody has experience and in general, whether you think that's an okay way to go. And if you like to.
An excellent way to go, Jay. Let me see if Charles is on frequency tonight, and I'm sure he could enlighten us with his thoughts. Charles, good evening if you're there.
Whiskey Bravo 3 Echo Golf Delta with a response after Charles.
Good evening, Dick, and thank you so much. I have not owned a Buckmaster for the last, maybe 12 years, but prior to that I've had a couple. They work quite well. When you read some of the reviews of salt in there, and because as with any antenna, you'll hear somebody talk about, it's the greatest thing since sliced bread. Your next review will you do better with a coat hanger shoved in the back of the radio. The Buckmasters and all dipoles, off center, center fed, even end fed, they all work about the same. They get the job done. And the advantage to the Buckmaster is that you do have a certain amount of multiband capability, but you are going to need a tuner between 17 and 30 meter. Unless you get lucky with your installation, you're going to need a tuner to get those to work. But otherwise, it's a good antenna, and certainly no reason not to go with it, but also consider your other options, things like an sword would possibly give you more operational bands, and also verticals, which will get the job done as well. But master design, and it'll take good care of you, I'm sure. We'll take KC6 that you use it.
Thank you, Charles. I don't know where all this jitter's coming from here tonight, but I've got a lot of reports of a lot of packet loss. Some are good, some are bad, but something's going on here. We only got 380 connections. It's nothing alarming. But we're good as we go. Thank you, Charles. And Jay, is that any help to you?
Yeah, sure thing. The comments about the bands were interesting. The off-center that I was looking at was maybe 4310, and it seemed like this Buckmaster might expand that. I gave them there with the comments as well. Thanks for that, Mitchell.
Thanks for reminding me, Jay. I almost forgot about my friend Richard. Hey, Richard, WB3EGD. Your comment, please.
Okay, sure thing. Thank you, Dick. I'll put in my 2 cents worth. Just my anecdotal comment. I've been using my Buckmaster off-center for about 10 years now, and I've been very happy with the experience. Not that there aren't the occasional quirk, which could be my own installation, mainly being I had a little RF in the shack on 80 meters. I have the 80 meter version.
I would have liked to have gotten the 160 meter version, but I didn't. And even with the 80 meter version, as Charles said, with my tuner, which I have built into my particular rig, I'm really able to use all plans that they advertise being able to use. And when I first got the antenna, I was quite ignorant because I was back into all the manufacturer, and he showed me I did not need an antenna tuner or a balun. As a tuner, actually installed a balun years later because of some RF in the shack, but it seemed to have helped a little bit. But anyhow, I have enough countries or entities to the XCC a few times, and I owe most of it to my 100 watts to my Buckmaster off-center fed dipole. So those are my comments for what they were. Back to you, B3EG.
Richard, thanks for being there, and hopefully, Jay, those were some encouragement on the off-center fed.
Absolutely appreciate it. Thanks so much. Thanks, Stephen.
Thank you, Jay. Let's go on to Steve in Cumberland Gap, Tennessee, W4HKL. Hi, Steve.
Good day, and everyone else on the net. My question's going to give away what one of my summer amateur radio projects is. It involves creating a coax choke, RF choke, for a 20 meter coaxial sleeve dipole. And of course at the base where you're cutting off the RF, you're using the outer braid of the coax and part of the point. And just having a lot of running across a lot of sites that have different information on how to create something called an ugly balun, where you want to turn the coax around usually a PVC form, 4-inch or 6-inch PVC. I think it's 4-inch. No. And anyway, I was just wondering if anybody has actually done that, used that method to choke the RF, and did they also use the snap-on ferrite thing? Because I have most of those. So anyway, that's my question, and I'll pass it back to you, W4HKL.
Charlie as well, but I've used a lot of those over the years. Long before snap-on chokes were invented. I think snap-on chokes were kind of an afterthought. At least I didn't know about them until a bunch of years ago. But so, Charlie, you want to shed some light on Steve's?
Absolutely, Dick. Steve, I am a big fan of the ugly balans mostly because I don't have transformers. Transformers waste a lot of energy. They're very narrow band. They just all kinds of and back in the old days, we always used a oatmeal box, wrap the coax around that, and then shellac or lacquer the whole thing, and bada bing, bada boom, you're good to go. But today's modern world of PVC, you're just as well. They work well. They're very, very, very broad. You don't have any problems with that. And then you also, as you mentioned, there are the snap-on ferrites, which I have also used those. Frankly, 6 or on a 4 to 6 inch form is a whole lot cheaper than buying snap-on ferrites. So I think those things are made out of gold. So I would just go with the ugly ferrite with it. That would be Dick KC6 UFM.
You, Joe?
Yes, absolutely. I just, wanted to make sure that that method was sound before I journeyed down that path. And there are many sites that talk about, like, how many turns you need versus what kind of coax you're using. I think I'm using RG8X for mine, so I'll pop that in there. And it should give me at least a general idea how many turns I need on the diameter form. So anyway, thanks a lot. I appreciate it there. And anyway, I appreciate it. Back to that, W4H.
Thank you, Steve. Good to hear you again. Who has a question tonight? Stations with an amateur radio related question. 41 to SCL. This is Dick WB. Call signs twice.
Kilo 7 KK70GC. I'm watching the live log and there's just like repeat after repeat after repeat. Anyway, this is Fred in Reno, KK70GC. My summer projects are getting on HF still and setting up a hotspot, an all-star clear node. And 2 questions, please.
Well, you're not really monitoring because you're coming in the middle of a net, but Fred, was there a question in there? I summer project, but I did not hear a question. You got a couple issues going on. I was listening to the film room, but if you could read, please. Our call signs, just ask the question.
There it is. Anyway, easy question for Charles. I have a more complicated question that I probably need Zoom room help with.
Oh yeah, what is it?
Well, go ahead for the question for Charles. I'm trying to take these noisy nodes off as quick as I can here. We're dropping like flies. Go ahead and ask your question of Charles.
Charles and Dick and everyone else on the net. So I have an in-fed dipole, and I'm running the counterplays, if you will. Kind of the main runs along the roof line, and for the moment, what I have is it kind of wrapped around the house, kind of under the gutter. So my question, the counterplay, the ground one, should I just drop that down onto the ground and run it that way instead of above the ground?
Yeah, Chris, this is Charles, basically. Either way is going to work. It does not need to be up real close to the dipole itself, but if you obviously around the eaves, I'm assuming we're talking about somewhere 8 to 10 feet off the ground. That's not going to be a problem at all. Just run it all and get under. When you do bury the counterpoise, don't get it any deeper than about 6 inches, preferably closer to 4 inches. Because if you get too deep, or if it's not quite deep enough, you're going to have issues. Or is the counterpoise wanting to be
how that signal gets to the ground. That makes up the other half, if you will, of the dipole. So that will work out just fine for you like that, though, Fred. Did I actually address your question there for you?
Anyway, it runs along the spine of the roof, and then the other one kind of runs, 70 feet off the ground. But I'm thinking if I drop it down to the ground, then I shorten my ground run. And no, I'm not going to bury it. I was just going to lay it behind my flower beds.
Okay, so you actually have it along the peak of the roof, is that correct? How far above ground level is the peak?
The peak of, I don't know, I'm going to guess 12 feet. It's only a single story. And then, like I said, the counterpoise is going to be, probably 3 feet less than that.
I now have a correct picture in my head of what you got going on there. Yeah, that's not going to be a problem at all, Fred. That's going to work just fine for you. The only thing you might encounter is perhaps getting a amount of RF into the shack. But if you just throw a few ferrite beads over the end of the coax right before it comes into the shack, that's going to resolve any potential issues with that. KC6 okay.
All right. Thank you, Charles. My second question is, I want to set up an all-star net host, but I have a sonic wall, TZ400W with the latest software, and it doesn't like UDP packets coming in. I need to route UDP packets through the firewall. I've tried like 6 times. This is the Zoom call thing that I need. Somebody who knows firewalls. Anyway, it's 700 net.
There you go. Thanks, Fred. Yeah, let's see. Elmer is not this Thursday. We just had one last week, but a week from Thursday is Elmer. Or just come in. There's usually somebody around that somebody, no doubt, can work with you. Thanks for your question, Fred. Thank you, Charles, for the answer, as always. Well, there's a question here tonight. We're trying to work on this packet loss. We also got a little problem with the text check-ins tonight. There's an upgrade a couple of days ago, and the text check-in timed out. So if you text it in, we need it again. So all the text check-ins we lost. So we need all the text check-ins one more time. We'll keep them in queue, of course, and then when the call districts come up, we can put them in the proper spot. But if you text it in, it's just an upgrade we did this week, and get a couple of little bugs worked out. Stations with a question. Call time twice. This is Dick, WDCJPQ.
This is WW4NEW, and I have a question about a counterpoise.
We're going to stay right on the antenna question. Mike, good evening to you from Pembroke Pines, WW4NEW. Go right ahead with your question.
Yeah, I just recently got my general, and now I'm looking at high-frequency radios. Can I just clamp onto a technical fence which runs around my property as a counterpoise? It's galvanized. Will that work?
an answer. Yes, it will work. No, it won't work real well because galvanizing gets up fairly quickly. Plus, the poles, even if they are driven into the ground, you're going to get some corrosion on that pole. Going to set up, start acting like a rectifier. If it's set in concrete, the issues get even worse. So, it will work, but it's not going to work very well for you. You'll be much better off, getting some wire, as I told Fred, maybe 4 to 6 inches below grade. It does not have to be resonant. It can be pretty much any length that you want. With that said, longer is better, but sit there and figure out, okay, it's got to be 32 feet, 3 3/4 inches, or anything like that. So put down enough wire that you can, and as many as you can. When you get to about 16 counterpoise wires, you start getting into an area.
I was jitters and that. Not sure about one of the larger systems to see if that was. We dropped out just to see if that helped. Might have made a little bit of a difference, but on Tuesday nights we can do the brew every morning. We have just as many check-ins. We don't have a problem, but some reason on Tuesday nights we're starting to develop a problem. David, I don't know. K4FXT, David, are you back in town? Are you with us tonight? I'm going to have David take a look at the data center there and see, but that's where it seems to be. It seems to be Wilmington, North Carolina data center is a pack of us. Mike, was that a help to you? I'm sorry, we just had all these distractions here tonight. The WW4 NEW.
Yes, the information was helpful. Disappointing, but helpful. I was hoping. Anyway, I appreciate the assistance. WW4NEW.
Thank you for your question, Mike. Thanks to you as well, Charles. Let's see who else has stations with a question as we work through our issues here.
Sierra Oscar Golf from KWSOG.
I'm going to ask you to hang on one second, Mike in Huntsville. If we got it right, VE3CAE coming in on VE3WL. You're extremely noisy. I don't think we'll be able to hear your question. I don't know if you can raise power or something, but you're pretty... Let's go to you, Mike, KW4SOG, your question.
Should also text in, and I'm showing up on the log way down is number 48 or so. So I guess we can delete one of those. My question is, I'm a new ham, looking to get into some HF this summer in a few months, I hope. And I guess my question is there a better band for a new general HF user to start with? I see some 6-meter nets coming up on when I'm looking for gators and stuff like that.
open, but let's, at the time, but whatever you got antennas and equipment for, but let's put it out to the group. And to your question, Mike, yeah, we were having a little issue, and Vicky's just got some of the call signs dashed down at the bottom of the log sheet. But don't pay any attention. Don't pay any attention to it. She'll put them in where they belong when the floors come up. What do you want to take? Let's stand at Mike's question. Dan for started.
Comment W4HKL.
Go ahead, Steve.
Steve, I think all of them would be okay. In particular, I like you don't have a lot of guys running a lot of power up there, everybody's been on equal footing, and the antennas aren't really that large. Just right next to it is 20 meters. It has usually fairly good propagation most of the day, and and 10 is particularly easy to get on because there's a vast quantity of older 11-meter antennas out there that was meters, particularly the old Anton 99s and stuff. And so it doesn't require a lot of real estate to get on, and most of the amateurs on those bands are pretty friendly. If you get down on 80 meters and drop into the wrong frequency with about a bunch of guys, they may not be quite as amicable when you come in running 100 watts. So anyway, back to that W4HKL.
Yeah, thank you, Steve. Go ahead, Charles.
Thank you, Dick. I would recommend the either 12 or 17. That was nice. Either 12 or 17. Mostly because you don't get contest nonsense going on there, and it's not as crowded, and because sometimes the pile-ups that happen on 20 meters and 10, sometimes those can be intimidating for a new general night. So, you know, I would suggest radio that can do it, the 12. They behave a lot like the 10, 15, and 20 meter bands, but just not as crowded. Back over to you, Dick, in case you think you got that.
Well, thank you, Charles, and Mike, I hope that was a help to you.
It was helpful. I appreciate it. Don't know exactly what radio I'm going to do yet. Still working on that, and the antennas will be the next thing. But that does give me some direction, and I appreciate everybody's input. KW4 SOG, back to that.
Thank you for your question, Mike. Stations with a question. Call sign strike. This is Dick, WB2JPQ. Last call for stations with a question.
W4SWLing, recording 5 Steve. Just wondering if I can get here better.
Got you, Dan. HWZ there in the Texas standby. Busy, but we'll do what we can here. Good evening, Dan. My buddy from Stanford, looking for us.
Well, good evening, Dick, and everyone else on the net. Just have a question with, he said 12 meters. I didn't get the other one. It blanked out on my end. What was the other frequencies that he mentioned?
Oh, do you want to answer that?
Absolutely.
Yeah, we're talking about the 12 and the 17 meter band there, Dan. 12 and 17. Back to you, Dick, KC6 shut down.
Thanks, Charles. I thought this was all Dan incorrect. Dan, is that all you got for us tonight? And while we got you, why don't you answer that question here? We'll get to a lot of Ben.